going on, guys? My name is GamesLinks and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, but this time it's a career mode, and this time we are playing with Beyond Home. And as some of you may know, this is the planet mod that I've spent the last 7 or 8 months developing, and I am proud to start a career mode with it. So without further ado, and with absolutely no science or whatever like that, because I started with the default values, so this is going to be interesting. Let's get right into it. So first of all, the mods that I'm using, well, Beyond Home for starters and all its dependencies, but I'm using Contract Configurator and Restock. There are a couple of others which are just quality of life mods, but apart from that, it's literally just Restock as the part mods. No other part mods, I don't think. I'm not using the DLCs either because, as you know, I don't particularly like them, but I also want to have the stock experience, at least the stock part experience, with the better looking ones from Restock, but I assume you know what I mean. Anyway, let's get into the VAB and see what we can build. First off, literally nothing. I don't normally play career mode. In fact, I don't normally play KSP, so this could be a completely new experience for both of us, or for all of us, it depends. There's probably only going to be like one person watching this, so hello. And we are off, and as soon as that started, it's finished like immediately. So I forgot I completely changed the solid fuel that we had. Anyway, I should probably deploy the parachute before we hit the ground, and I'm going to do a little bit of science. I need to do some science as soon as I hit the ground, and I didn't adjust the height on this parachute, so we're going to be here for a while waiting for it to hit the ground. Wow, it's almost as if we only move like a meter. So I'll observe the other mystery goo and just see what. 3 science. It's a start. Oh, I can EVA. I forgot I could EVA when landed on the home planet. That was the wrong button. So was that. There we go. I keep thinking deploy experiment or something like that. Oh well. It's been a while since I've done any form of career mode. It's been a couple of months since I've played KSP in general, really. So I might be a little bit rusty. Anyway, we've got 25 science now, so let's get some of these. I think this is the only thing we could actually get. Oh no, we could get survivability as well. Yeah, I'm probably going to get this mainly for the bigger parachutes, and because the atmosphere is thinner, it's probably just better to do that. You know, I'm completely new to Strategia. No, this is Contract Configurator, isn't it? But I also have Strategia installed, so I'm completely new to both of them. So there's a start. Gather scientific data from Road. We're not going to be orbiting Road just yet, so it's probably better to just get the data and start off with that one. Right, so here's our trusty, terrible craft, and I think we have a fuel tank now, which means I can redesign the bottom. We also have a decoupler, so that's nice, and a heat shield. It's not like we're really going to need it, but I might just put the heat shield on anyway, just in case. Right, so here we are on the launch pad with our second craft. I have the swivel engine down here, I got some fuel tanks, I got some stuff in the service bay, some science, and that's basically it. Yeah, this actually hits the part limit of 30, so we're gonna launch this, and it does have an upper stage, so we might. The delta V is slightly lower than what it should be to orbit Road, but we're gonna give it a go. We don't really need to, because well, we've not accepted the contract yet, so it's probably better to do that. But we're definitely going to escape the atmosphere, so that's kind of what I'm going for at the moment. And up there we have the 2 stars, although you can only see one of them because the other one is either in front or behind it. I believe it's behind it, but the scatterer sun flares in the most recent scatterer version just straight up don't work on scene change, so you might not be seeing sun flares for a while, and the last update was like March or something like that. just don't expect them to come back anytime soon, which is kind of why I reworked the stars in the previous Beyond Home version. Now, I have a feeling this might flip over because there's no fins on this, but if you look closely down there, there is a second space centre on a road, and you can unlock that. It does have quite some strict limits. It's just higher up and it's on the mountain, so it's just a change of pace, really. Now, I don't know what our apparatus is. Probably something high. Ooh, we could get into orbit, but I'm probably not going to. Because we haven't accepted the contract, so there's really no point just wasting it. And when we get into space, we are going to deploy our science experiments. So you might have noticed that the atmospheric height of road is only 50,000. It is a considerable amount thinner. It is also, I think, 0.67 times that of Kerbin's, for those who are wondering. Although the gravity of the planet is less as well. I also have 2 thermometers and 2 barometers, which I forgot to remove. No, I only have 2 thermometers, but either way, I forgot to remove one of them. But I suppose that means we get more science on the way down, because I can't EVA to restore the experiments. And here we are, about to re-enter, but we're not really gonna be travelling too fast, so we should be fine. I'll just get a temperature scan from the upper atmosphere and leave it at that. And there's not really much point to keep this stage. I suppose I could slow myself down with it, but the thrust weight ratio is terrible. This engine has liquid fuel and oxidizer in it. Oh, right, okay. I didn't realise Restock did that. That's a nice feature. I suppose looking at the actual base of this, it does have fuel. I didn't really expect that. Anyway, it looks like we're going to be landing near this river. I suppose it's a river. It sort of leads to the sea, but not really. It sort of stops there and there. But yeah, I'm a massive fan of road. When I was making it, it's actually one of the first planets I made for Beyond Home, and I never remade it. In fact, I'll have you know, Rock was the first. It has gone through a couple of iterations, but overall its terrain is pretty much the same. So I suppose that's a fun fact for you all. And it looks like we're not going to tip over for once, which is new. Just going to take a quick look of where we've landed, really. Oh, hello. Classic scatterer, really. As I said, this version has quite a few bugs with it, but well. So it looks like we've landed in a pretty nice place, but we're just going to straight recover. I might do an EVA report after tipping over the craft so that I can actually get back in. I might not, because it's going to roll down the hill. So I'll do it at a later date. Alright, 50 science earned, which means we now have 74. And I am probably going to upgrade the rocketry because we're going to get into orbit. Yeah, advanced rocketry. There we go. Right, here we go. Orbit road. That's our latest one. We have to test. I'm probably not going to hold the fleet rocket fuel booster into flight above road. Actually, if I launch using one and somehow get an apoapsis of 26,000 meters. Well, I'm gonna try it. I don't think it's gonna go so well. Anyway, this increases our max vessel weight. Upgrading this increases our max parts. And if I upgrade both, I'm gonna be broke. So I'm gonna upgrade neither of them until we orbit road. I think we could get to orbit with the parts we have. Anyway, the gravity turn for this craft is going to be really difficult to pull off because this is a non-gimbaled engine and the swivel didn't have the thrust weight ratio that I would have liked to complete this gravity turn, and it would have been wasting a bit of delta V because it had a thrust weight ratio I think 1.43, which is close enough to 1.5, but it was a little bit less than I would have hoped. Anyway, so I have to turn this really carefully because it is wanting to roll without me really pressing any buttons. Well, now that it's started to roll, it's, well, not technically it's yaw, but it should really be pitch because it's going towards the circle. Whatever, technical term. Details. So yeah, this looks like an okay gravity turn. I'll say that's alright. It could be better, but I'm happy with it as, well, obviously this is my first time playing this planet pack in a career mode. You notice over there, not many people have actually seen this, or just completely forgotten to tell me about it, because most people tell me when they find an Easter egg. But there's a cave over there. Maybe people don't think it's an Easter egg because it's so easy to find, but it's just a cool thing I decided to put there. Anyway, yeah, this gravity turn might be a little bit dangerous, considering we are beginning to heat up a fair amount. Just gonna sort of hold off. I believe our apoapsis is it's getting there, but again I'd say we did too steep of a turn, and now we are paying the price for that through overheating. But I'm now trying to move the craft away from the horizontal. There we go. We will get the apoapsis. Now I'm gonna keep the lower stage up because the drag forces on this are quite high, so we could flip over, which is why I'm not decoupling this just yet. And it looks like we have it's okay. It's quite a shallow gravity turn, so we are going to be losing delta V. But because of how our craft's angled, we are going to our apoapsis is still rising despite us slowing down. I'd say this is probably okay to decouple here, so that's what I'm going to do. I can't really do much science here. I could probably do the barometer scan in the atmosphere. So I am extremely confused as to why this fuel tank exists. I think I can enable crossfeeds, so we should have a little bit more delta V. Or am I just going to have to pump the fuel? It doesn't seem to be letting me do that. Anyway, that's a pretty good. In the end, it's turned out okay. It could have been a lot worse. We could have like hit the ground. Anyway, yeah, we can't really do much science here. We should be able to get a higher orbit actually. That might be what I do. But first we're going to focus on getting an orbit. Does this count yet, or does it have to be above 50,000? Yeah, it looks like it had to be above 50,000. Oh well, we have 1,800 delta V remaining, so we might as well get a higher orbit and get a little bit of science. I don't think we're going to get a lure encounter, although we probably could. We might not have enough fuel to adjust and get back, so I'm going to leave that one for next episode. Anywho, here we are in orbit of road. It's quite a nice view. I don't think you can see lure from it. The sun flares, they're working. Alright, so let's get some science. Oh, 18 most high above road. That's a worthwhile investment, I believe. Now from this we should be able to upgrade the VAB and the launch pad. So I'm hoping we can, so that I can actually start manned missions to Armstrong and / or lure. So I'm going to bring the orbit a little bit weird. It's going to be quite a strange re-entry, and I'm going to adjust it when I get down here, and this is really fuel intensive to do this, but I just want to land in the day. That's my reasoning behind it. I just want to land in the day. And we have the fuel to do it, and we might as well not put it to waste. So that involves pointing straight outwards and fixing the orbit manually. And I mean, we definitely do have the fuel to do it, and this might actually work. The most inefficient change I've probably done in a while, but it means we should get a periapsis. There we go, we have a periapsis, and that means we're going to hit the atmosphere and probably burn up and die. But classic scatterer being scatterer again. I'm going to have to downgrade scatterer versions. I did that before actually recording this, because I was like, scatterer is going to do this, so I should upgrade the version, but no, I should have downgraded. And the stage is gone. It's probably gonna blow up around the same time we do. That seems to be slowing down more than we are. Well, goodbye, lower stage. It's got a mind of its own. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to really quickly turn on the aerodynamic effects. I had to turn them off because they cause quite a bit of lag on large ships. Where even is it? There it is. There we go. That looks better. The clouds. Right, so there's the other stage, just in the back. I'm surprised the reentry effects are still on it. I'm just checking to make sure we're not overheating. This is a decent looking reentry actually. Except we're gonna land probably on that island over there, or in water, and neither of them are good ideas. We might just miss that island. But you never know, we might not. Nah, it looks like we're gonna miss it, that's fine. As long as we're not spending the rest of this just rolling down a slope. Now that is really pretty. I've not actually noticed the wind sounds that they've added. It seems to be, is it new in 1.7? I don't know, you just hear the wind now for some reason. I'm going to wait for us to slow down a little bit more before we deploy. Oh, that is a nice shot. There we go. Ooh, that was too close for comfort. It looks like we still have the science experiments though. Except they've detached from the craft. But they're still there, so it's fine. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to collect the science now. Don't think I can... Oh no, I can, but it has... Yeah, it resets it. That's fine, as long as I have the data. And there we go. And it's time to recover. That was a very close splashdown there. I was going to say, landing in the water is not a good idea, but the deploy height was slightly too low. And there we go, 65 science. A couple of funds, but we have way more funds, so I'm just going to upgrade these two. There we go, and now we have enough funds for a manned mission to Lua or Armstrong, which is going to be in the next episode. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you liked it, remember to leave a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next episode.